The men who arrested Jesus led him to the house of Caiaphas, the high priest. The religious leaders were gathered there. They wanted a reason to kill Jesus, but they couldn't find one. Finally, two men came forward and said, "This man said he can destroy the temple of God and rebuild it in 3 days." Caiaphas stood up and asked Jesus, "Is this true? What do you have to say for yourself?" But Jesus said nothing. Caiaphas said, "I command you to answer, are you the Messiah, the Son of God?" Jesus replied, "Yes, that's right. In the future you will see the Son of Man seated at the right hand of God, and you will see him coming on the clouds of heaven." Caiaphas was angry. He and the other religious leaders did not want to believe that Jesus is God's son. They said Jesus was lying, but Jesus was telling the truth. Caiaphas tore his robes and said, "This man has spoken against God. You all heard him. Now what should we do?" The crowd said, "He deserves to die." Then they spit in Jesus' face, hit him, and mocked him. The next morning, the religious leaders decided how they would kill Jesus. Then they took him to Pilate, the governor. Pilate asked, "Are you the king of the Jews?" Jesus answered, "Yes, that's right." Then the religious leaders made accusations against Jesus, but Jesus did not say anything. Pilate was surprised that Jesus was silent. Every year at Passover, the governor would free a prisoner, whichever prisoner the people chose. At that time, there was a prisoner named Barabbas who was very dangerous. So Pilate asked the crowd, "Who do you want me to set free, Barabbas or Jesus, who is called the Messiah?" The crowd answered, "Barabbas!" Pilate asked, "Then what should I do with Jesus, who is called the Messiah?" The crowd answered, "Crucify him!" Pilate asked, "Why? What has he done wrong?" But the crowd kept shouting, "Crucify him!" Pilate saw that there was nothing else he could do, so he took some water and washed his hands in front of the crowd. "I am not guilty of this man's death," he said. Then Pilate freed Barabbas and handed Jesus over to the crowd to be killed. Jesus was unfairly sentenced to die, although he did no wrong. Jesus was the perfect substitute for us, dying on the cross for our sins and rising from the dead. Everyone who trusts in Jesus has forgiveness and life with God forever.